Field of fun.
Welcome, everyone, to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Charter Township of Washington Board of Trustees. Today is Wednesday, February 18, 2026. If you'll all stand and please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If our deputy clerk will please do the roll call.
Supervisor Previti.
Here.
Clerk Brown, absent. Treasurer Nicely.
Here.
Trustee Chaplin.
Here.
Trustee Milam.
Here.
Trustee Reinhold.
Here.
Trustee Stevenson.
Here.
Okay. We have quorum with 6 board members present. You see before you the agenda. If there's any additions, deletions, or motions.
Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to make just a correction on the timing on 5.2. In the comments that I made last week, taxes will be accepted through 8 a.m., not 8 p.m. on Tuesday, March 23rd.
Okay. That was really under consent. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Motion passed. Next is the consent agenda. It's okay. You're being asked to approve the accounts payable of February 12, 2026. Approve the minutes of the Board of Trustee meeting of February 4, 2026 with the noted correction of 8 a.m. on Tuesday, March 3rd.
Correct.
Yeah. 5.3, accept the Building Department monthly report of January 2026. Accept the Macomb Agricultural Purchase of Development Rights Committee, the 2026 annual report. Accept our Robinson Capital monthly report ending in January 2026. And accept the Fire Department monthly report in November 2025. That'll be my motion to approve the consent agenda with the noted change.
Support.
Supported by Chaplin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. We have no moved agenda items. Next is comments from the audience on agenda items only. If there's an agenda item here that you'd like to address the board, please come to the podium, state your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. There will be time at the end of the meeting for non-agenda items. Okay. Going once, going twice. Thank you. Next is legal counsel. Okay. Unfinished business, we have none. New business, 10.1. The Hawks Acres Community Park. This is a grant application overview. Our planner, Kayla, will present. For those of you in the public that may not be aware, the township purchased a couple years ago 27 acres on Mound Road, north of 29, the former Hawks Acres. We have plans to make that a community park. We purchased it over 2 years. Kayla and I have been working on different ways to utilize this for our parks and recreation as another green space. And we've also been working with the Romeo Community Schools to help develop certain portions of the park as well. But we have Clara here as well as from our Parks and Rec.
Thanks for giving me a chance to.
Yeah, no, I'll let you hook up on the monitor there.
We will see if this works. If not, you have this same presentation in front of you. So seemed like it was doing something. Okay.
That's not a picture of Hawks Acres.
It is not. There we go.
That's the deal you got.
That was more like Hawaii.
All right. Well, thank you for letting me be here tonight and just to present to you all. To give a little bit of context, like Sam said, we have been working over the last few months to come up with a conceptual site plan for Hawks Acres to turn it from the working equestrian farm that it was into a community park that's accessible to the public. What we're presenting tonight is kind of the process that we've gone through, the overall concept for the park, and then also an overview of a grant application that we are hoping to submit this year to the Michigan Department of Natural Resources through their Land and Water Conservation Fund. So presenting today just the main concept. In March, we actually want to come back to the board and talk about that application and get some of the finer details nailed down so that we can get a resolution authorizing us to apply. So with that in mind, I think you all are fairly familiar with this site, but just a recap, this is 27 acres. It features several barn and farm structures, in addition to a wetland area, which you can see in the middle of that satellite view down on the bottom. And then in the back, there's 10 acres of cleared land that has been used essentially up till November for active farming and the raising of crops. There are 18,000 square feet of house and barn space, and we've been doing a lot of engagement to see what kind of programming could fill that space. Next steps would be to engage an architect, but right now we're looking at more of the site improvements, again, to get access out on the site. These are some images of the farmhouse that exists. In the middle there, you see an unimproved trail that runs through that wetland area that was actually used to get agricultural equipment back to the 10 acres that were farmed. And some of the nice views of the other farm structures out there, the pathway that was installed along Mound Road, and the larger pole barn as well. So we have done pretty significant community engagement at this time to get ideas again for how the community would want to use this space, what recreation needs maybe aren't being met in the community right now that this site has the opportunity to offer. We started with a review of the 5-year parks and master plan, working closely with Clara to talk through some of those priorities and needs that were identified in that plan, and also understand some of the things that she had been hearing from her Parks and Rec Commission. We then had a series of partner meetings where we met virtually with different folks who we hoped may want to partner on this site to help us provide programming when the time comes, and also just give us general advice based on the recreation trends that they're observing in their own parks. So again, we met with Parks and Rec. We also met with the Huron-Clinton Metro Park staff. We met with Romeo Community Schools, and I'll talk a little bit later how we're engaging their Pathways program. We met with Macomb County, and I saw you had a consent agenda to talk about their Purchase of Development Rights program. So we had some conversations with those staff, in addition to MSU Extensions and Green Macomb. And then finally, we met with a group called the Michigan Barn Preservation Network, who we're going to be further engaging to talk about reuse of those buildings. Following those partner meetings, once the weather warmed up a little bit this summer, we were able to make 2 site visits out to Hawks Acres. So we went with our public works staff, with Rich, thank you, and also with Dave with Dave, our building official, and then with Parks and Rec Director and Romeo Community Schools staff as well, to get a feel for the site constraints that existed and what was actually possible on the site before we went out to engage the public. That was really important to us to make sure that we weren't promising anything to residents that couldn't be fulfilled on the site, that we weren't getting hopes up without having a good understanding of both the market conditions and what this area could support, and also what the feasibility was of making different improvements here. Then finally, we got to the fun stuff, which is that public engagement. As you remember, we came out to your December tree lighting event here with a series of poster boards, and we got to grab parents as they were leading their kids to the balloon artists to respond to these posters, asking about different priorities for the site and looking at a list of possible programs and seeing how likely they would be to participate in each of those. So a few things that we learned, talking with Township staff, with our partners, and also with your residents. From the Township's point of view, what we heard is that there's a desire and a need to preserve our agricultural heritage. We know that the Township purchased Hawks Acres in part because residential growth was spreading quickly up Mound Road, and this provided a little bit of green space buffer to help keep that transition between that residential and the agricultural uses. We also heard that it was really important to connect to existing trails, including the Macomb Orchard Trail. So we looked at pathway connections and actually found that we are 1 segment away right now from having pathway connectivity all the way from Hawks Acres to the Macomb Orchard Trail through Gilcher and Chrisman Park. And we also heard a desire to partner with Parks and Rec for programming and maintenance of this site. From Parks and Recreation end, we heard a desire for indoor gym and court space, and we are looking at that with the use of some of those farm structures. We heard that this area really needs a universally accessible playground for children of all ages and abilities, a place where both toddlers and kids 5 to 12 can play. And then we heard a desire to partner with Washington Township for the site planning and landscape architecture work, which is what our team has been doing in the background for this project. Finally, we learned about resource availability. Through Romeo Community Schools, we were able to engage with the High School Academies program to provide some design support. I'm going to show you the site plan in a few slides, and I'll show you which specific pieces of the site they are looking at designing for us. But from Macomb County, we heard about available programs specifically for trees and landscaping, and they also connected us with folks from MDARD and MSU Extensions to further some of the agricultural ideas we have for the site. We got engaged with the Barn Preservation Network and now have access to their experts in farm structure restoration, which is a specialty that none of us in this room have, so we are really excited about that. And then finally, we learned about funding opportunities and a preference from both the Township and Parks and Rec for a phased approach for this site, so that you're not doing all of the improvements for 27 acres at once, but responsibly kind of managing the access and improvement to that site. Just really quick, I want to give a high-level overview of that resident engagement. I just want to say to start off, residents were super excited about the opportunity on this site. People were really engaged with the posters at the Christmas event. They wanted to talk about the opportunities, the things they saw in their community. And overwhelmingly, the thing that we heard is that they wanted the natural walking trails and the agricultural heritage to be preserved. They wanted that connection with the farm theme, but also the ability to get out in nature and recreate. So the top things that we heard from residents from our poster board kind of list of activities here was that they wanted the walking and cross-country skiing trails out on the site, and also connections from other neighborhoods into the site. They also wanted the playground equipment, which again was corroborated by the Parks and Rec plan in our conversations with Clara. They wanted butterfly and pollinator gardens, so a way to have that natural landscaping and a little bit of educational component with it as well. Outdoor fire pits were really popular for some all-seasons use. And then finally, a dog park, also rated really highly on the site. Okay. So with all of this in mind, again, thinking through the site constraints, having those conversations with our partners, we developed a conceptual master site plan for the site to kind of serve as that guiding vision. And really, what we wanted to lean on is Hawks Acres Community Park as a place within the tri-community recreation system that honors the township's authentic agricultural heritage and natural features, and also provides unique opportunities for residents of all ages and abilities to play. We think this is a really special piece. If it's added to the park system, it would be the largest, if I'm not mistaken, in the tri-community parks. And it also has the ability to have that passive and active recreation mix. So I'm going to dive deeper into that piece on the left of this overall site plan that's a little bit more developed. But we are anticipating keeping some of the natural elements of this site, including that wetland area in the middle, where we anticipate non-paved paths running through there to allow that nature experience, but also some opportunities for recreation. On the back 10 acres, I am really excited about some of the agricultural opportunities we're researching, specifically for research purposes and for startup farming. To be able, again, to keep that agricultural piece, we recognize that this was a working farm and that's still really important to the community. And so we're working with MSU Extensions, MDARD, potentially 4-H, and also a company called Michigan FarmLink to see what we can do on that site that's different and innovative. So this was what was proposed for this, again, more developed piece. Phase 1 of the project is estimated about $1.5 million, and it includes the area highlighted in yellow. So I'll speak to that first. Currently, the site is not improved for public access, meaning there's no parking, there's not entryway signage. Michigan Department of Natural Resources wouldn't consider it a public park at this point. Until those things are added, that kind of limits our funding availability, hence wanting to apply for those things to be included in our first grant application to the department. So number 1 on the screen there is just an entryway sign welcoming people to Hawks Acres Community Park, likely branded with some of the Washington Township signage that's gone up recently. And then development of a surface parking lot up in front of the community there. We do intend to keep all of the farm structures, so you still have that nice view as you're coming up Mound Road of those red barn buildings. Number 3 is a seating area and landing pad for future portable restrooms. Oops. And this is located right next to the playgrounds, so it gives parents a really nice spot to wait, to watch their kids in the shade of that pole barn structure. And then 4 is anticipated as a universally accessible playground, which means that the equipment can be used by persons with disabilities. The surface is one that can be walked on, rolled on, if you're someone with a mobility disability. And it's also equipment that caters to some of the sensory disabilities that exist in the community, whether that's audio disabilities or things that help with stimulation for young kids. And so all of those are anticipated again in that first phase, which is the focus of the grant application that we're proposing. And it fits really nicely with other things that are planned. We're developing cost estimates right now for those additional pieces that could be developed as a package future for another grant application, or could be kind of checked off and implemented one by one as Washington Township or the Parks and Rec Commission decide that they want to implement certain things. So within some of the barn structures, we're anticipating office and classroom space. We're also looking and working with the Pathways program at the high school to convert the pole barn labeled number 8 on the site plan into indoor pickleball courts to satisfy some of the needs that the Parks and Recreation Department has recognized. 10 and 11 represent a small and large dog park. And this is one of the only areas where that space is available for that kind of use. It's something that residents have, I know, repeatedly asked the township for, and it sounds like Parks and Rec as well. We're working with the Pathways program to develop that as well as a pollinator garden, which is between that pickleball indoor court and the dog park itself. So allows a little bit of buffer space between the playground and the dog park. Number 9, and again, hopefully you can see those numbers on the screen. I know it's bright in here, but that's anticipated as a field of fun and also overflow parking. So this is an area where you could set up for events with all sorts of temporary outdoor tents or things of that nature, or even bouncy houses if you have a special event that the township or Parks and Rec is looking to host there. But also if you have, a 5K that you want to host on the site, for example, that can serve as overflow parking if the surface parking up front is filled. And then 12 represents a wildflower or meadow maze that would be really easy to maintain by just mowing paths through a series of vegetation that can change out year by year. And then in the background, 13, there is an orchard piece. We also anticipate having a little bit of an artist retreat there. So a place, if you're someone in the community who's interested in plein air events, for example, where you go outside and paint with fellow artists or wannabe artists, that's a really good space for that. On the orchard side, there are programs like Green Macomb that the community obviously has worked with in the past. But also there's the potential to do something unique there, like potentially work with research institutions to create a maple sugar bush or stand there. And then finally, 15 labeled shows the perimeter path around the site. And 2 loops around this, again, it stretches all around the perimeter, equals a 5K. So it's a place that the community can start to hold those runs in an outdoor setting and safe place without closing down roads. Before I get into the grant application, are there any questions, thoughts on that overall concept?
Do you know if there's any plans for an outdoor amphitheater?
That was the idea.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay.
No, you're fine. Amphitheater, no, but there is space for an outdoor plaza and kind of over by 14, which is the main barn. You see, it's probably a little tough to see there, but you see kind of a large tree structure. Over there right now is planned like an outdoor plaza with pavilions, strung lights, and a place to do your outdoor tree ceremony. Potentially even planting a tree that grows year after year so the community can watch that tree grow up with them. So that's the vision for that piece right now. And this isn't set in stone, so if an amphitheater is something that the community really wants, that's still something that could be worked in.
The only reason I'm bringing it up, I know we have the Parks and Recreation does a great job with musicians that come in and they go throughout the different parks. I just want to make sure if there's an opportunity for them to play there, if that's the case we want to do in the future.
Yeah, that's great. All right.
Now for the bad news.
Sorry, what?
Now for the detailed cost.
Yes. Yes, so getting to the cost breakdown, I already said 1.5 million is the cost estimate for that first piece, which would include the parking, the playground and playground surfacing, the entryway signage, the pathway, kind of around those elements, not the main perimeter path, but just to get people to those initial site amenities. And then also that landing pad that has seating and space for future restroom development. So this is the engineer's opinion of probable cost. It breaks down the line items. It's really detailed. You have it in front of you. Happy to answer any questions on that. About 14% of it we estimate would be engineering, permitting, survey work, so kind of the soft costs. And then you have the material costs up top. So for the grant application, through the Land and Water Conservation Fund with MDNR, the max grant amount is $500,000. That is the case for any MDNR grant. That's the most that they'll give. So that leaves $1 million left for local share, which can be split between the township and Parks and Rec if that's something that both bodies choose to move forward with. I am presenting to the Parks and Recreation Commission tomorrow night as well with this initial concept. And we wouldn't be asking for a decision from the board until March to actually authorize the application. But we did propose an initial breakdown in those costs, being Washington Township initially putting in $100,000 for survey, permitting, grant administration, and the actual sign that would be in front of the park. And with the Parks and Recreation Commission covering the rest of that local match, which would look at the parking, the playground equipment, and some of the larger scale engineering work to actually get the construction documents to go out to bid. We also recognize that Parks and Rec would be covering the maintenance costs and any restroom rental if there needs to be porta potties out on the site, which is ongoing costs that would not be on the township. So with all that in mind, Clara had a really great question, which is when would construction actually happen? When would we need to budget for these costs? What MDNR looks for is a commitment from the communities at the time that we apply, that they are going to give that local match. They commit those dollars. But realistically, the earliest that construction could take place is summer and more realistically fall of 2027. So that means there's still time to get these items into the budget, again, if both parties choose to move forward. These numbers are flexible. We gave our cost estimate based on the things I described, but there's an ability to tailor this if we need to or adjust some of that cost share. But this is kind of our recommendation at this time.
Kayla, what are the expectations? That's a year and a half, almost 2 years away before start and completion on escalating costs.
Yeah, so there's some of that already built into the estimate, usually through contingency. So we make sure that that's covered and build in for some of the inflation in the construction costs themselves. Yeah, it's a great question. And this grant, all of the MDNR grants are reimbursable, so it would actually be paid by the township and then reimbursed through MDNR as various invoices come in.
So how long would the grant approval process take once we commit?
Once you commit in March, presumably, if it's something you want to move forward with. Let me get down to my timeline here. So applications are due April 1st. We likely wouldn't be hearing until the end of the year if we're being recommended for award. And then this grant actually comes through federal dollars that get allocated. So usually they're not giving you the green light to go until January or February. Once you get that green light, and these are the steps I would help you with as your planning consultant down the road. Once you get that green light, you put out to bid for the engineering services to actually prepare the construction documents. You choose your primary consulting professional, your prime consultant is what they call it. And that prime consultant develops then the construction documents. Once those construction documents are in place, MDNR has to approve them, and then it goes out to bid for actual construction. So we're working on these projects with a few communities right now, just to give you a realistic timeline. They brought us on like January, February. We got approved through the MDNR My Grants portal, and we're doing all of their permitting right now in the spring so that we can hopefully get things in the ground late summer, early fall.
Kayla, do you have like an estimate of what the entire project's going to run when it's done?
I will have it very shortly, so I hope to have that for you when I come to the March meeting of each of those pieces. And then
You're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4 is $1.5 million, right? Mm-hmm. So you got a second entrance and some additional parking and some other buildings and all that. Are we talking another $1.5 million to finish it, or are we talking $2 or $3 million more?
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be in the millions. But again, it depends on how much you want to do, when you want to do it. And again, we're anticipating that this would happen over many years.
Yeah, we're not looking at doing this over the next year and a half. This is probably like a 5 to 10 year project because it's very expensive.
Yep. But one of our next steps on this site is to bring in an architect to actually look at what can be done with the structures, and that'll give us an idea of some of the interior work. The perimeter pathway, cost-wise, because it's natural materials and not going to be paved for the majority of it, that cost won't be so bad. That's something that potentially the Township and Parks and Rec would want to look at implementing sooner. Whereas some of the other improvements, like the dog park, for example, has a pavilion that's proposed in the middle. Things like that maybe would cost more and want some more consideration.
Do you know if there's a plan B if we don't get approved? And do you know if we don't get accepted this time, can we reapply?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and that, on the same point, for the rest of it, is there a possibility of getting more money for that or not? Or is it just a one-time thing?
Nope, so you can apply every year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we would probably anticipate doing that as long as that local match is there, right? That's the constraint, is whether the community is willing to give the local match. But if you have it, we would go after grant dollars for you every year.
Even to finish the rest of it?
Mm-hmm. And that becomes the fun part. Once you have this master plan and you know what these elements cost, you have a vision, then you just kind of get to pick and pluck those pieces and decide what you want to fund or implement that year. And it becomes something that the community can look forward to over time.
Is there a plan B
If
we don't get the grant?
It just slows it down.
Do less.
Just slows it
Would
down.
we just be doing less, or do you have any idea what would be done less?
Yeah, so you could again start with just the perimeter path, just open that up if grant funding's not awarded. It means you don't have a lot of parking on the site, and it's a little, it's not super formal, right? You also don't have signage out there, so maybe you want to do some of that stuff just out of Township or Parks and Rec budget for really low cost to get it open to the public. But some things can be done pretty cheap. It's just not the experience residents are looking for necessarily. You could go out and mow a path today that would serve some of that need.
I've been pushing for more obviously the dog park, the playground, stuff that people can start utilizing the park for less expensive items. But again, playground equipment I know is not cheap anymore. That's very expensive.
Yeah.
But
And
like
the parking is a
pollinators
big
usually.
piece of that too.
Well, yeah,
which is-
parking. Yeah,
yeah.
parking's very expensive. But in the meantime, they can park on the dirt. We have dirt parking.
So let me go back to next steps. Again, going to the Parks Commission tomorrow to gauge their feelings on this, present the same concept, and talk about next steps for that grant application. It is a really quick turnaround. So April 1st is when applications are due. We are getting together all of those application materials right now. So even if the township, isn't ready this year, we have it there. We can submit next year or look for other grant opportunities. One thing that we're working on right now is getting our Section 106 review done, which is something that's required through the State Historic Preservation Office for anything that utilizes federal funding. So we're going to do that work to get our archaeological review and historic resource review and all of those details figured out ahead of time. Also happening simultaneously, like I said, the Romeo High School academies are taking on the design of that dog park, pollinator garden, and an indoor court and pickleball space. So we gave them this site plan and kind of those parameters that they could design within, and the students are really looking forward to that opportunity to add their touch to it. So we'll be getting those back at the end of this semester. We'll be getting an architect in at some point to just look at the barns, see what can be salvaged, and maybe what the potential is to rehabilitate some of that space. We have some contacts with the barn preservation network, like I mentioned, that are willing to come out and are really excited about this project as well. We're looking out for some other grant opportunities, including landscaping. I know Relief has already gone out to that site, and so we don't anticipate disturbing what they've already done, but there may be some more opportunities to do additional plantings and landscaping work out there. And then finally, continuing to have conversations with some of those partners about the agricultural piece. The township staff were also really kind and gave me some of the contacts for the farmers within the community. So we're going to be starting there once we get this grant application in to understand what their needs are and maybe what obstacles they see to getting into farming in the township so that we can use some of the site to address those concerns and bring back some of that education and opportunity for those who want to keep that agricultural heritage alive. That's all I have for you tonight. I know it's a lot for you to discuss. I would love to just hear those thoughts so I can take them to the Parks Commission tomorrow with, a tentative yay or nay. But again, nothing that you're locked into tonight.
Kayla, I know that the CDBG has some funds that they set aside in a different bucket for community development projects. Will we be able to leverage some of those here, put an application for a project or two?
Yes, I would have to look at what their timeline is. Those are federal dollars, so sometimes it's a little tricky to overlap those. But they can, with some programs, those can even be used towards local match. Just the timing wouldn't be right for this April application because you have to have that commitment now.
Okay.
I know that's a broad answer to your question.
I'm sure there'll be more opportunity in the next few years.
Yes.
We don't have to vote tonight, that's when, to make the public hearing to vote, or not?
If you want to set a public hearing date now, that would be great for March. But yes, I plan to be back at your March 18th meeting.
It's the March 18th.
March 18th.
I'd like to make a motion to call for, to do a public hearing on March 18th, 2026.
Support.
At 6:30 PM, okay. To discuss this grant proposal for Hawks Acres, supported by Stevenson. Sorry, now back to any questions on the motion?
No.
Good. Otherwise, roll call?
Supervisor Praviti.
Yes.
Trustee Stevenson.
Yes.
Trustee Mylum.
Yes.
Trustee Reinhold.
Yes.
Treasurer Nicely.
Yes.
Trustee Chaplin.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Caleb.
I know I'm bugging Kayla on this all the time. Thank you. Next is 10.2. 10.2 and 10.3 kind of hand in hand. It's for the HydroCorp service agreement renewal. One is for the commercial agreement, one is for the residential agreement. I'll turn it over to Rich, our DPW director.
There's a section on, as you see, one for residential and one for commercial. These are following the state laws for all backflow devices that are on your houses and commercial and industrial businesses. So we do this. We do not do it. We sub out the work to Hydro Corporation. They do so many a year. You have the numbers right in front of you on the sheet, the old contract and the new contract. So you can see it's gone up a little bit, but we're actually getting to the point probably in a few years that you're probably going to have to, it probably makes sense to have a person doing it in-house, okay? Because it's just building up and building up. other communities do that, but you have to see and wait and see. I won't be here to push it through, but I mean. Are you sure? No. This is something that we have to do every year. Actually, we had Eagle in today to just go over our numbers, and we're good on commercial and industrial right now, but they like us to pick it up a little bit on residential. And it's hard, you know, when trying to get into somebody's house and outside, and, you know, these people that do this for us, Hydro's been doing it since I've been here. They have their identification with them. We hardly ever have a problem with them. I mean, I can't even think of in 10 and a half years, you know, where we had an issue. So these are just increases for April 1st to continue on. I think they're 3 years if you read it on there. They give you the numbers and the amount that we're going to pay.
So for the public, this is for services for cross-connection control programs, backflow preventer test tracking, water meter replacement and testing, piping schematics, and water quality management and samplings for the residential. They are proposing, the new contract is year one, monthly cost of $677.06 a month, which is an annual cost of $8,124.75. In year two, $704.12 monthly, with an annual cost of $8,449.50. So the total contract is $16,574.25 for the residential portion. Let me see what the original one, just to read it out loud.
We need to do those separately?
I guess.
Okay, well, if you've got the residential numbers there, then I'll make a motion to approve the residential contract extension while you're reading them.
Okay. So that's a motion by Chaplin to renew the HydroCorp commercial agreement.
You read residential numbers?
Yeah, I read residential, yeah.
So we'll skip ahead, then we'll do the motion to approve the residential agreement.
Sorry. Supported by Stevenson for the contract as awarded for $16,574.25. It's a 24-month term. Okay, if no questions, then roll call.
Trustee Chaplin.
Yes.
Trustee Stevenson.
Yes.
Trustee Mylum.
Yes.
Supervisor Previti.
Yes.
Trustee Reinhold.
Yes.
Treasurer Nicely.
Yes.
The commercial agreement is basically the same for commercial side. Let me get those numbers. The total on this one is $39,718.35. The first year is $19,469. The second year is $20,248. So the total's $39,718.35 for commercial agreement for HydroCorp renewal. I'll make the motion to approve that one.
Support?
Supported by Chaplin. Any questions on the commercial agreement? Otherwise, roll call.
Supervisor Previti.
Yes.
Trustee Chaplin.
Yes.
Treasurer Nicely.
Yes.
Trustee Mylum.
Yes.
Trustee Reinhold.
Yes.
Trustee Stevenson.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Next is 10.4, the Highland Treatment Plant Operation and Maintenance Agreement Renewal. This is our wastewater treatment plant. This is another spot where it's actually cheaper to sub out than hire people, basically, but
Right,
we're at the renewal.
Yeah, I
have
wanted to ask, you said at some point it might make sense for us to hire someone
Yeah, you have to
internally.
just see how the numbers
Is there
start adding
a
up.
specialty involved? Is this minimum wage kind of thing? What is involved in that?
It's not a specialty. You have to be, for inspection, anyone can do it, okay? For repairing it, you have a specialty to fix it, okay?
And that
then-
person would have to be able to do all that, or
Pardon me?
the person that we'd hire would,
No, just on an inspection side,
it would just be the inspections?
right?
And they identified an issue,
Right.
someone else would fix it?
You go into the house, you go down and you look at the meter. Anyone without potable water wouldn't have to worry about it with city water. And his job is to look at everything from backup sump pump to outside irrigation, different things. If you have boiler heat, you'd have to have some kind of device on it too. Heated sidewalks, all different things.
And if repairs are needed to be done, that's up to the
Homeowner
or
to,
it's
yeah,
up to the
they
homeowner.
have to be a licensed, registered, I think a plumber too.
to have the repairs done, and that's on them.
Correct.
Okay.
So the current contract is $5,901 a month. The new rate is $6,255 a month. So that's the new contract rate.
Yeah, Highland is we've had them now for a while. I don't know how many years.
Since we opened in 2020.
Right, and they've done a good job. I'm not going to knock on wood and say we have no violations. It's a good company, and maybe someday down the line you might bid it out, I'm not sure. Okay, if it gets, above our taste, with the cost. It's a good company, though.
Do you know, and this may be for Mr. Siebert, in Section 5, it says the agreement starts on April 1st. Automatic renewals on an annual basis unless terminated in writing by either party. If there's a window that we can be placed in there so they just can't come to us tomorrow and say we're canceling the contract?
I believe this contract hasn't changed since we started it, but I'll let Bob.
5.1. Okay, good.
Pretty clearly states within either party, 7 days' notice.
That's a little bit longer.
No, I think he was talking 5.1.
Richard, are there a number of other competitors that would be easily?
Oh, yes.
That would easily step in and replace them if they?
Oh, yes. Yeah, you have to have a state license, as you do on the water side. The sewer side requires the same thing.
But there's plenty of competitors.
There's competitors, I don't know about plenty, but yes, you have to have, there's plenty of operators that have a license, yes.
Okay. So if they did terminate the contract, we should be able to find someone.
Sure. I mean, like Highland probably has, and I'm going to just throw this number out there, maybe 60 or 70 operators. So they don't just do Washington Township, they do other communities across Michigan.
Section 5.2 provides that either party can terminate the agreement on 7 days' notice.
I was hoping for something a little bit longer, just in case.
Well, if we want to walk, we prefer a shorter period of time.
Exactly.
We want as short as possible.
But if they walk, what do they do?
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
You can put in whatever you want. You can put in 60 days. I don't know the industry. I don't know. Rich, how long would it take you to find somebody else if they left?
I don't think it'll take long, but, then you got to worry about the price. It varies in this field, Some are bigger companies. I mean, I'm sure we can get somebody in there.
So maybe 14 days or 30 days would make more sense.
Again, I don't know anything about waste hauling in this kind of a practice, so I don't know how long it would take. But if Highland were to walk off the job, let's just say hypothetically, you need an opportunity to, first of all, you're going to have to go out and get somebody right away.
Right.
I'm assuming there's no breach, so it's just as, they may be too busy, they may have a better job, whatever the case may be. But if they walk, you're going to need an opportunity to go out and hire somebody immediately. You're going to have to bid it out. That process is going to take a couple of months probably. You may want to say that either side has to provide the other side with, 90 days or 120 days written notice. That's in the case of a non-breach. Obviously, if there's a breach, and either side can terminate the agreement or at least, allege a material breach. I just don't know. Rich, what's your position?
I would say that, you can get somebody right away, Mike. It wouldn't take that much. It'd be more or less me going to the 7 and saying, I want X company to come out there and do it. Yes, no, we need somebody. There's plenty individuals and companies that'll do it.
Okay,
And how long did you say Highland's been working with us?
Since the opening,
2020.
20,
Okay.
yeah.
And actually, they were on board about a year, 6 months or a year before we opened, and they helped with some fine-tuning.
Okay.
They've been since the beginning.
And no problems with them since?
No, it's a good,
There's no issues with them at all, or?
no.
Sounds like a good.
It's a nice, clean station plant that they run 7 days a week.
They've never threatened us like to terminate, right?
No,
Okay.
no, not yet.
I'll make a motion to approve the new contract starting April 1, 2026,
Support.
supported by Mike Nicely. No questions on the motion? Otherwise, roll call?
Supervisor Previti.
Yes.
Treasurer Nicely.
Yes.
Trustee Chaplin.
Yes.
Trustee Mylum.
Yes.
Trustee Stevenson.
Yes.
Trustee Reinhold.
Yes.
Motion passed. So tonight continues with DPW.
Yeah.
We have a fleet of DPW pickup trucks. One of them has been used specifically for salt, which
Yeah, and
has been
it's,
taking a beating over.
it's taken a beating, it's at its match, it's time to change it out. It's a two-wheel drive truck,
It's 13 years old.
holes in the floorboard, everything, so.
So we went out on, what's that site called that you bought? We get municipal pricing for trucks. So you'll see, we actually got we get better bidding than obviously going to a local dealer. What was the price, around 47?
Yeah, it was, I think,
47,406.
it was below 50, I think 40.
Yeah, 47,406 for a Ford F-150.
Yeah, 2026 Ford F-150 Super Cab 4x4 XLT pickup, 6.5-foot box in red.
Yeah, we
So,
want to stick with the red.
I think if you're reading, if that was Ford that you're saying?
I'm sorry, sir?
Is that a Ford you're reading?
Yes, Ford
I
F-150.
believe that's for the building department?
Yeah, the one, this is a Chevrolet Silverado for the,
Right,
You were getting the Chevy?
we're switching to
let me look.
Chevy.
the first item on the agenda is the Chevy.
Okay, it's actually cheaper, 45,972.
Thank you,
Right.
sorry about that.
No, it's-
But a local dealer couldn't match this price?
We did that before, and they're in
It's
about
just-
67 to 70,000 range.
They have an issue, something about matching the price.
This is
'Cause we
going out
tried
on a
it.
website.
In my time, this is the first time we tried that, not from us, from somebody on the board wanted it, but it didn't work out.
Just was wondering why you got to go to Grand Rapids to get the truck when we got dealers.
Well, we're
right
not
here.
going to Grand Rapids.
Well, this one's Grand Rapids,
They'll
right?
deliver the truck.
Yeah,
to
they'll
us.
be bringing it in.
Well, I don't mean physically going there, but
Yeah,
I
I
mean, why
know.
we have to
I know
buy
what
it
you
from
mean.
Grand Rapids as opposed to a local dealer here in Washington
Chevy,
Township.
just like Ford, has people that do strictly these kind of sales. So when you go into a dealership, you're not getting the same thing that you do from these people that sell for, that's all they do.
This is going on a municipal website. You can get
Okay.
things a little
So this is
discounted.
not a regular dealership that we're getting it from?
Well, it's probably a dealership, but it has one person that probably does one whole area of Michigan selling Fords, and one selling Chevys, and one selling Rams,
Okay, and the local dealers here don't do that?
You can get it from the local dealers. I'm not going to say you can't, but you don't get the same kind of deal that you do from them.
Okay.
And they don't have the quantities like these guys that sell these.
So I'm saying if you go buy the same truck at a dealership, you're going to pay about 67 to 70,000.
You can get a 2026 pickup like this for under 46,000. It's a smoking deal.
Yeah. So
Oh, I'm not saying it's not, I just
Yeah.
was wondering if we give the local people a chance to.
We tried. Yeah, we did.
I want to buy one of these. I just got way more.
you have to open up a municipality.
But you might have a few more options on yours. Maybe leather seats.
But you need it too, though.
Yeah, I didn't, well, you didn't write it, we didn't write it on the thing. We were
So-
looking for 2 trucks, but,
One is for next year's budget after April 1. They do happen to have 2 of these. But
right.
he was kind of hoping if we'd pull one ahead for that.
Yeah, we were trying to piggyback one with the building department, a Ford still, but that's totally up to you. It's going to be on April 1st if we do it, because we need that truck also.
So they have to, would the pricing be the same as this one?
Same as that.
So we-
Not the Chevy.
The Ford one
Ford.
is a
Same
couple
as the
thousand
Ford,
more.
the
Yeah,
47.
different truck, yeah.
So we're just pulling that forward a budget year then? We've already got it in there?
Yeah.
It's in the budget.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be more expensive next year if we wait,
Well, I mean,
as long as we're budgeted for it.
I'd like to make them separate motions.
Yeah, we'll have to because there's.
Be safe. Yeah.
Yeah, we can amend that or add a motion in.
So,
Believe it or not, Charles, we can only get one Chevy. And it's red. We buy red vehicles, so,
No, this one's red hot.
It says,
They won't sell you 2 of them?
not Chevy, no.
There's shortage?
They're actually holding
They're
it for
like
us
in a,
because if we
it's
don't
not,
buy it,
it's not the big
they'll release it to another
changeover, but
town.
it's something else that they're doing right now. They don't have stock.
no, then I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the request to purchase a 2026 Chevy 1500 Silverado pickup truck in an amount not to exceed $50,000 for the DPW.
Okay, motion by Chaplin, supported by Stevenson. If no questions, roll call.
Trustee Chaplin.
Yes.
Trustee Stevenson.
Yes.
Trustee Reinhold.
Yes.
Trustee Mylum.
Yes.
Treasurer Nicely.
Yes.
Supervisor Perviti.
Yes. Okay, motion passed.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks. No, thank you. The next one's a similar request from our building department. Our current building pickup truck has about 125,000 miles. It's also 13 years old. It actually has the crankshaft window, but we don't want to get rid of it. We do want to keep it to do snow plowing around the building in the wintertime. But that also has been in their budget for the last couple of years. We've been prolonging it, but this one would also be red. I don't know if it's red hot, and it's, this one's a Ford F-150 Super Cab at $47,406, so it's a couple thousand more.
It's red. It's
Red
red.
hot, though.
It doesn't say red hot, it just says red.
This one's just,
the color
this one's just
The
red.
spec sheet doesn't say what color it is.
So 47,400.
Well, it says in red,
Yeah.
Oh, does it say that?
box in red.
Okay.
F-150 Super Cab 4x4 XLT pickup, 6.5 box in red, $47,406.
Is that a motion?
But you can make it.
Okay, I'll make the motion to, for the building department to purchase the Ford pickup in the amount of $47,406.
Okay, motion by Chaplin, supported by Mylum. Any questions on the motion?
They need to, not to exceed 50,000?
We could rephrase it to not to exceed 50 because there's incidental costs.
Okay. You're okay?
You know, like wheel and tire warranties and things like that?
Rust proofing.
Ceramic coating.
I don't think they do that anymore.
They do.
Do they really?
Okay, so,
Stereo.
okay, so roll call?
Trustee Chaplin.
Yes.
Trustee Mylum.
Yes.
Trustee Reinhold.
Yes.
Supervisor Perviti.
Yes.
Treasurer Nicely.
Yes.
Trustee Stevenson.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed.
Do we need to make a motion to amend
Next.
the agenda and improve, and do the other truck for DPW?
Do they have another truck for DPW?
Yeah. A Ford.
Okay. A Ford, I mean, would under 50 be okay, it'd be at the same price?
It's the same truck.
As this
Two
one?
of the same trucks.
Same as the one for the building department?
Yes,
Okay.
Vermilion red.
If you do a not to exceed 50, that'd be safe.
it's red.
Red hot.
Well, no, it says vermilion red on the Ford. They have a ruby red too.
Well, do we need a motion to?
So we need 3
To add it.
trucks.
Well, I mean, again, so this has always been on a year 2 budget, which is coming up now, April 1st. It would give us an extra truck in the fleet. We're not going to get rid of a truck in the DPW, but it would help out the department. But to lock in this price, yeah, I would need board approval.
Okay, well, First, then, I'd probably make a motion to amend the agenda to add the second DPW truck to the agenda.
Support.
Okay, I don't know if we can do that. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Don't have, okay.
Okay.
Now,
Motion
is this
passed.
Chevy, or is this a Ford?
This is
It's a Ford. They can only get one Chevy, so they can get two Fords, one for the building department and one for the
So then I
DPW.
would make the motion to move this one forward from the next budget year to now to, for the DPW to be able to purchase a Ford pickup truck as listed in an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Support.
Okay. So that's a motion to buy another Ford truck not to exceed 50,000 for the DPW department, pulling it forward from the April 1 budget. Motion by Chaplin, supported by Stevenson. No questions, otherwise roll call.
Trustee Chaplin.
Yes.
Trustee Stevenson.
Yes.
Supervisor Previti.
Yes.
Trustee Mylum. Yes. Trustee Reinhold.
Yes.
Treasurer Nicely.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed.
Did they put our logo on the side, or do we do that?
We do all that.
You don't do that?
We do all that.
Oh, we do all
that, the numbering and.
It's all done here, okay.
Next is 10.7, dissemination agent agreement of Budzinski and Co. I'll turn over to the treasurer.
So what you see before you, this is the renewal of the agreement that the township has had that's going to get ready to expire for the deadline for our fiscal year, March 31st, 2025. These are agreements for 5 years at $1,000 a year and are cancelable at any time with a 30-day notice by either party. They have been filing these forms for the township in 2015, 2019, and the 2025 bond issues. Annual filings are not required by the township as long as these bonds issues are outstanding. It will continue to the township issue any new bonds. We would file this for a full agreement executed. It is not mandatory that the township engages with Budzinski to file these annual disclosures on its behalf, but the filings are mandatory, whether the township chooses to use them or another company. Since Budzinski already has the 2015, 2019, and 2025 bonds, and Mr. Siebert has already reviewed the contract, I'd like to make a motion to approve the dissemination agreement with Budzinski for the term period in the agreement.
Support?
So that's a motion by Nicely, supported by Chaplin. Any questions on the motion? Otherwise, roll call.
Treasurer Nicely.
Yes.
Trustee Chaplin.
Yes.
Trustee Mylum.
Yes.
Trustee Stevenson.
Yes.
Trustee Reinhold.
Yes.
Supervisor Previti.
Yes. Motion passed. Next is 10.8. I'd like to set the public hearing date for the 26-27 budget to be held on Wednesday, March 4th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. here at Washington Township Municipal Hall. That's my motion.
Second support.
Supported by Stevenson. Any questions? Otherwise, roll call.
Supervisor Previti.
Yes.
Trustee Stevenson.
Yes.
Treasurer Nicely.
Yes.
Trustee Mylum.
Yes.
Trustee Reinhold.
Yes.
Trustee Chaplin.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Thank you. Next is comments from the audience on non-agenda items. Please come to the podium, state your name and address. You have 3 minutes. Everybody's.
I'm Paul Reno. I'm from Bruce Township. I find it very ironic when I got here that those of you who live over on Mound are going to get a nice, beautiful park, and I get a nice toxic data center. That's awesome. Thanks. So last time I was here, I referenced Aaron Brockovich, which is a true story about a rich, powerful company that poisoned a community knowingly, and then an attorney helped them win a class action suit, and they got a bunch of money because they all got sick and they died. Well, you know what? I don't want to get sick and die. I don't want to be part of a class action lawsuit. I want this data center to end now. Okay? So I am retired law enforcement. And one of my jobs after I retired was in the federal courthouse. I was a court security officer, and I was stationed in Port Huron with Judge Cleland. Now, why is that relevant? Well, Judge Cleveland had a series of public corruption trials. Fazil Khan, Rizzo Waste Hauler, and others. So I sat in that court and I heard the testimony and I saw the evidence. And what it did, it reinforced as a municipal employee all the times that we sat around and said, you know what, something stinks about this thing that happened. Something's irregular. So our code went off. There's something wrong with this. All it did was reinforce that we were right. We were right every time that it stunk, that it was irregular and it was shady. So if you think that it can't happen here in Washington Township, it has happened here, because Fazil Khan was a civil engineer who came into the former supervisor's office and threw a manila envelope full of money on his desk, and that was for votes, and that was for contracts. So it has happened here. So I am pleading with the employees of Washington Township. I am pleading with the people on the board. If you have seen something irregular about this data center that made your little thing in your back of your head say, there's something wrong here, because there's a lot of people saying that. If you have seen that, say something. Please say something. If you have seen something, say something. Because you know what? At the end of the day, when this is all over with and there's a vote, you got 99 problems with this item. You have one positive, and that's money. It's greed. So you, all of you, are going to have to face the people in this community and say, we did this for money. That was the only positive thing.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Sandy Han. I live in Romeo, the Washington Township part. And I think one of the last meetings you had, you directed the Planning Commission to update their plans as far as new development and things like that. Is that correct?
Yes. Right now, it's your 3 minutes. Sorry. Yes.
And so, anyway, my question is, when the planning committee gets together and starts working on those, are those open meetings?
Yes, all meetings are open.
And so, are there comments allowed during those meetings?
Yes.
Okay, and then they're submitted to you and they're approved? Is that how it works? I'm asking because I don't know.
Yes, everything goes at the planning commission, then it comes to the board for final vote.
Okay.
So nothing's come to this table yet, yeah.
So chances are that's not going to be a quick process.
Correct.
How will that affect the current request on the table that's coming in March with the company that wants to put in the data center? How does that, the new rules won't be in there, so they'll go by the old requirements from the Planning Commission, correct?
Again, this is your 3 minutes. I can't interrupt. Again, the proposal for the rezoning has been put on hold until possibly April or later. We don't know. We can't force them to come back to submit. So in the meantime, the Planning Commission on March 12th will be discussing possible ordinances to review.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. I was just looking for
it's fine.
information.
I'm just trying not to.
That's okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Holly Bishop, and I live at 33 in Powell. Why do people say this is in motion? It's hard to see past the new signs, fire hydrants, new road, new power lines, approval for an $18 million DPW building, building a new fire station, water main tie-in, and sprucing up El Joe's. We don't know where you stand. We don't know what you get from this, because we know that we'll get absolutely nothing. As kids, I'm speaking on the data centers. I hate the data centers. I'm very passionate about hating them. Thank you. As kids, we learn that there are consequences to our actions. Your decision regarding the data center will impact multiple towns. Your decision could destroy the character of this beautiful area, our natural resources, and aid in taking humanity down as our air, water, and food will be contaminated. There'll be chronic exposure to constant noise, air pollution, EMF exposure, and unpleasant and unsafe odors. In no specific order, honeybees, livestock, expecting mothers, and children are reported to be highly vulnerable in areas of data centers. However, we all will be affected. With low frequencies and chronic exposure to hazardous noise, it is known to cause sleep disruption, headaches, stress responses, hearing issues, cognitive fatigue, cardiac load, and the list literally continues daily. Why make anybody suffer? Why make the children suffer more? Wasn't COVID enough? These data centers throw chemicals into their lungs, disrupt their frontal lobe development, and elicit fight or flight responses from a constant hum less than 2 miles away. The frontal lobe is one of the 4 main lobes in your brain and play a crucial role in function, including executive function, motor function, speech production, emotional regulation, attention, and concentration. Why would you choose to inflict this on children, as it's literally happening in areas that have data centers? Will they have to wear masks when they go outside? Do we keep the children in during recess or cancel or limit outdoor sports and activities? How can we responsibly take care of our children? We are experiencing poor air quality right now, and they're recommending for us to stay in and reduce our time outside. We can't stay inside forever. We need air and sunshine to survive, as they offer extensive health benefits from the oxygen intake and vitamin D production. We don't want to breathe in carcinogenic waste, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, airborne soot, and fine particulate matter, because again, we know the body does not absorb any of these chemicals. Rather, they cause diseases. Your life matters. My life matters. All of our lives matter. We care too much to ever allow this in our backyard, and we care too much about our freedom to allow AI data centers to take over. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Holly.
Thank you. Have a great
Thank you.
Hi, I wanted to, while we have a little bit of a break-in time here while we're waiting for an application to come in, I wanted to share 2 conversations I had in the past 2 weeks with energy experts and data center energy experts, and just share some information. One is a business acquaintance of mine. We were at a sustainability conference together. He presented a slide on the projections, that the national projections on AI usage and the amount of energy it would take. And the headline for that is that the U.S. is not prepared to be able to supply the amount of energy needed for AI. And so there's likely going to be a steep drop-off of brownouts and blackouts from if the projections are correct, that the U.S. infrastructure won't be able to support it, right? So that's nationally, right? And that's not fear-mongering, that's supply and demand. They're looking at the statistics. Now, I asked him about Michigan. He lives in Michigan. He's a Michigan energy expert. And I said, people are saying in our town that this data center is going to help increase the reliability of our energy grid, and it's going to make it more cost effective. And what would you say to that? What's the truth behind that? And he said, DTE is in the top quarter across the nation when you look at energy providers for cost. So when you compare them to other energy providers across the nation, top 25% for cost, bottom 25% for energy reliability. Why would you believe that DTE is adding more infrastructure? They're going to be able to manage it any better, right? And there's a saying in psychology, the greatest indicator of future performance is past performance, right? And so his comments were, you cannot trust or believe that at all, that this is going to solve your town's energy problems, that this is likely to exacerbate them. He also said they could fix the problems for data centers and not fix them for the rest of the town. That is also a possibility. So he has volunteered to be a consultant to the Residents Committee on Energy for us when the proposals and stuff come in, so we have another energy expert. Now, when I spoke to the data center experts, this is a small consulting firm, and they consult on sustainability around data centers and energy usage. What they shared was that when they're talking about cutting edge technologies, there are better technologies out there that can help with water and energy impacts. It's not zero, they're still major and they're still substantial, but you can purchase better technology. However, those technologies are very expensive, and in their experience, data center developers do not want to put that technology into their facilities because they can't make a profit. So that's just something for us all to be aware of as we go through this process and we hear things like cutting edge technology. There's a high cost, and the reality is most developers don't want to put that into their facilities or all of it to mitigate the environmental impact, and that there are major energy reliability issues in our state. And when you think about this data centers going in across our state, that's only going to exacerbate the situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Camille Allensworth. I was not planning to talk, but just to jump on that, I don't know, I just want to bring everyone's attention because they are your energy provider. DTE was just fined $100 million for Clean Air Act violations. This is from 2018, so these kind of damages go on for years. Yes, even if there are rules in place, the damages can happen and nothing is done, or even if something is done, it can take a long time to correct the problems, or not even correct, just to pay for, right? It's just a fine. They're not going back and fixing the problems that they caused for the residents that were close to those violations. And then I also want to highlight, because I have brought it up several times, Memphis has a AI data center, and it is a border town. So I'm actually from Arkansas, the West Memphis, Arkansas. Memphis is in Tennessee, and then just south of that is Mississippi. So this is a very concentrated metropolitan area right now. So you've already known about what's been going on in Memphis with the data center and the fight there. Right now, Mississippi is actually now getting involved. So when you think about what's happening with Bruce Township and Romeo and Ray, they're all coming in. You do need to hear those residents, because right now Mississippi is getting involved because their people have also been polluted by the impacts and rule breaking, as it were, of this data center. And, you know, these things don't just stay. There's no walls in our township that protect the air from moving elsewhere. So I just want to make sure that you all are watching the news about DTE and Memphis data center. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Okay, thank you, everyone. Next is elected officials update, community announcements. Really, we're kind of, the fish fries start next door at the Lions Club this Friday, or did they start tonight?
Friday.
For this Friday. I don't know if today they do it. March 12th is our planning commission meeting. So for any of you, that will be on the agenda, discuss the proposed reviewing of the ordinances regarding data centers. Well, I'll let you go.
Okay. Saturday, March 14th is St. Baldrick's. It's going to be held at the Romeo Lions Club. If you get a chance, the opportunity to come by, please support them. There is a great band that does bagpipes that puts on a great show for their band and for the public here. So if you get an opportunity to come by and support them and support the kids especially, because 1 in 5 kids will not survive cancer. It's a great opportunity to give them a little support while they're up there trying to come up with a cure, or a family member that has somebody afflicted by it. The taxes are due on Saturday, February the 28th. However, because this is a weekend, it's being extended to the following times. Anything deposited in our external lockbox before Tuesday, March 2nd at 8 a.m. Will count. Mail received on Wednesday, March 3rd will count. So as soon as we receive the last drop of mail on Wednesday, March the 3rd, that's going to be the cutoff time. Any payments not made, we'll have to turn them over to the county, so please make sure you get them in on time. You will not be able to make any payments here at First State Bank or online or through our website, because that'll be shut down. So please make sure you get in as quickly as you can.
Our ZBA meeting, I think, is canceled for March. We have no correspondence. So before I end the meeting, I'd like to do a little personal shout out. I want to thank Matt December. This is his last week working with us at WBRW. So he's not even here. Oh, I thought he was back there.
He was.
Already.
Yeah.
He must be watching back on weekends. So I'd like to wish Matt happy trails. He served our community for a number of years, obviously as WBRW, and before that, behind the scenes on the board of Michigan Community Media. He's also was well known as well in the journalism world, working in the papers before that. So want to thank Matt for all the time he's put in at our township. With that, make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Supported by Dennis. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion closed.